welcome back to another episode of Unlimited Abundance with your host, myself, Polina Baragova. I am so honored to be here. It feels weird to introduce myself every time, but I always forget that so many new listeners are coming in each week. And so if you're just it's the first time ever finding me or discovering me or hearing me speak, then I feel like it's only fair to introduce myself. I'm so excited for this week's episode. I was basically essentially a few things I wanted to share. So last week I shared a lot of personal stories in my podcast, and the feedback I got was so amazing. So many of you loved it. And it's interesting because it's not very natural. It doesn't come organically. I guess Coco's trying to get into a box. It doesn't come super organically to me to share personal stories, I guess. Like I'm so much more like, I don't know, philosophical, or like to share like my thoughts once I've collected my thoughts. Like for example, a lot of people while they're going through something, like I don't know, whatever it is, any kind of life situation, they kind of share an update as they go. I'm the type to like go through the whole experience, integrate it at least somewhat, digest it, and then like share words of wisdom. And I feel like one of the things I'm trying to do is learn to be more comfortable with just sharing things as I learn them, and like not needing to like come full circle through everything before I share it, I guess, in a way. And so yeah, also just like opening up more. I'm a Capricorn moon, you guys, so sharing personal stories and being vulnerable is still a little scary to me. I like to give only like the necessary tidbits, I feel like. But you guys love last week's episode. So if you haven't listened to that one, I share a lot of personal stories about dating, before I met my husband, how I 10x my business, and I really kind of explain even I feel like the more vulnerable parts and what it was like. But today, since 2023 is almost here, which first of all is crazy. This year was, I mean, every year is different for everyone because we're all at different places in our lives, we're all experiencing different lessons. If we look at our birth chart, we're all going through different themes. So it's kind of hard to ever compare your years. Like for example, for 2020, for a lot of people was a really hard year, but 2020 was probably one of the best years of my life. Like I met my husband. That's when I literally pivoted my business. I got engaged. Like I traveled. Like for me, it was like genuinely one of the best years of my life. But then this year I would say was more intense because it was so internal focused, and I think my mind wanted it to be very external focused. Like I think I was so in my, I don't say I was in my masculine, but I was really, yeah, I was like very creative and creating, and I think my ego wanted to keep up with that momentum, but my body was like, you need rest. You've been so on it for 2 years, like you need to kind of allow yourself to be. And so I feel like I had so much inner work. I'm like, oh my god, is there really more inner work to do? Like how? But yeah, so that's kind of interesting. I'd love to hear how your 2022 was. For me, I would say it was like it felt like so much in one year. I felt the same about 2020, but in a positive way. Not that this year it's in a negative way, but I felt just this year was like lesson after internal work, and like realignment and lesson. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I really intuitively feel 2023 is going to be very outward for me personally. I like looking at to see where your progressed moon is. I think it gives you really good kind of insight into where your energy will be. And progressed moons are longer, right? They're about 2.5 years, but my progressed moon right now is in Sagittarius, so I really feel that much more outward energy. The previous 2 years I was very inward, even though I was really active in work and creating a lot. I was very much like, so I was like, if you're watching each video and I just wave my hand, there was like a little fly, like a fruit fly or something. But I was very much creative at like in like I was very in my inner world, but sharing and creating. And I really feel that this year I'll be very like out doing like being more out of my, I guess, home shell, versus like I normally am very introverted and I only want to come out when I want to come out. But I feel like I'm going to be out in the world more, which is kind of interesting. It's my intuitive prediction, so I just wanted to share that. But what I want to talk about is three things. I don't know how I'm going to title this actually, but essentially 3 ways to make 2023 your year, or 3 things you must do to make 2023 your year. I know those are like some more aggressive titles, but I feel like that's like the only way that they can really demonstrate the value. And so I was reflecting on my previous year. So I was reflecting on like my mindset at the beginning of 2020, then 2021, and then this year. And I was just kind of like reflecting on all those things and kind of how the years went and my intentions, and just kind of looking at the balance of powers of your intention plus trusting the divine. Like really weighing out all of those aspects, and kind of I wanted to give you three things to talk. I want to talk about three things and I want to dive into each one. This is gonna be a really, I feel like, introspective, powerful episode. So wherever you're listening to it, just get ready, whether you're driving, whether you're cooking, whether you're just sitting, relaxing. I just feel like this is going to be a very like introspective, beautiful time we're about to have. So maybe if you have a candle and you want to light it, you have a little tea, a little decaf coffee, or even coffee. I'm drinking coffee now too. We're gonna get into it. I like have chills and I'm just really excited. I feel like for some reason this episode's gonna be really good. I have this feeling before it. Enjoy my ASMR coffee drinking. So, the first thing I think that is the most important, and it sounds obvious, but it really is not obvious unless you take action on it, is to get clear on what you want. This is just an overall theme, I think, in general, is so important. I think so many people find, and in myself included, sometimes, we find ourselves throughout life feeling not as inspired, or we start feeling like unmotivated or unfulfilled, or, we want like unhappy or whatever it is. We're just like not feeling it. Like, I don't know how else to put it. And when it's this, and this is why I know this works, is because we cannot see what it is that we're missing in our lives because we're in our lives, right? This is why I feel like mentorship, and I'm not even trying to use this as any kind of promo. This is just organically my thoughts. Like, that's why mentorship is so powerful, because someone can see you from the outside, see what you're experiencing, thinking, feeling, especially if they've gone through it themselves, and they can so clearly see what it is that you desire. Like for me, when I work one-to-one with clients, and like they tell me what's going on in their life, it becomes so evident to me, like what it is that they're, I don't say missing, but what energy they're desiring in their life, that's creating that imbalance, that is creating the feelings of not the lack of emotional fulfillment or connection or whatever it is. It becomes so clear. Like when they share about their life, it becomes so clear to me. And then it's like kind of like a prescription, right? Once I know what could create more harmony or balance in that person's life and lead them to that feeling of fulfillment, then we can go about doing energy work to get there. We can do spiritual work. I mean, everything's spiritual, but we can even start like tangible actions in the real world, doing like inner work. Like we could start doing all of the things and like taking action, both inward and outer, once we know what target we're moving towards, right? So like someone like, I don't know, for me, like I might be working with a client and they might be like, okay, I can give you like, I'm not going to name names, but I can just give kind of examples. They might be like, you know what, I'm feeling like I'm feeling stuck, unmotivated, whatever it may be. And then when we look at their life, I can clearly see that they don't have just any space just to be with themselves and be with their thoughts and allow that creativity to flow. Maybe their schedule's really tight, maybe they're around a lot of people, or whatever it may be. Like I notice that they're not having that space or not creating that space. Or for someone else, maybe they're really wanting passion, and like, it's so different for every single person. But I think we often don't see what it is that we're missing, or we don't, or it's very hard to be honest about what it is that we feel like we're missing. And so as you enter the year, just getting clear on what it is you want is going to be so powerful. And you can literally go category by category. If you want to join me and do some work around this, I'm hosting, hopefully you're listening to this as soon as, if you're listening to this before the ceremony, and even if you're listening to it after, you can still access it. I'm going to host on December 15th at 5 to 6:30 p.m. Pacific. My like signature, I do this every year. It is so powerful. I need to find my notebooks from the previous year, because this is one of my most powerful ceremonies. I host for the year ahead. So this year it's gonna be a 2023 Activate ceremony, or it's called Activate 2023, Manifestation and Alignment for the year ahead, for the new year. It's really, really powerful. It's via Zoom. I do these every year, and people have life-changing results, and not just like, haha, life-changing, no, like genuinely life-changing results. And so if you're listening to this before then and you can grab a ticket and you want to come live, definitely join. And even if you're listening to this after, when you join Divinity, you get instant access to anything you miss. So let's say you're listening to this like anytime after. You could even be listening to this in January. If you join Divinity, well, actually, I'm lying. So if you're listening to this at any time in December, then you'll still get access. Because if you join in January, your membership will be in January, so you'll get access to the January events. So if you're listening to this at any point in December, you can still join Divinity, and it's my monthly membership, and you'll get access to both of those replays. All Divinity is that you get access to the 2 events I host each month via Zoom. I host like ceremonies, rituals, workshops, things like that, and you get access to both of them for a discounted price. So on the first of every month, you'll get your guide. It'll say the days of whatever events are those days. Like it'll be like, for example, Activate 2023, Manifestation and Alignment for the year ahead, for the new year. And it'll say like, like we do it December 15th at this time, and whatever the second event is, and we'll have the Zoom info. So this is before you come live. Then if you want, you can come live. A lot of people come live, of course. And if you can't come live the day after the ceremony, or even sometimes right after, the full recording gets uploaded to it. And if sorry, I see a text on I synced my text to my laptop, which I don't know. I don't think I did on purpose. It just syncs, it like just syncs that way. And it's honestly so annoying. I get so distracted. I need to turn it off. If you join after, right? If you join at any point after, like I'm saying, even if you join like December 20th and you miss both live events, you will still get the both full recordings. So you're always getting the value. But yeah, that's just a really great, that's my favorite ceremony to do for the year ahead. And it really touches upon what we were just talking about. Like I said, it's just via Zoom, so you can just join from the comfort of your own home, wherever you want to do it. I just suggest having a pen and paper and any little tools that you want. Some people bring crystals, Palo Santo, bring the things that you want, like get blankets, make it cozy, like make it a space for yourself. But essentially get clear on what you want and go through the areas of your life. Oh my gosh, like I'm just making sure I'm sorry I'm going off tangent. This is making me so excited for the ceremony tomorrow, because I do ceremonies with you. So when I run them, I'm not just hosting them. I do them with you. That's actually what inspired me to do them, is because I've been doing ceremonies and like candle magic and all that stuff for a long time. Like literally even when I first moved to LA around those times, and I was doing all these rituals and scripting and doing all this cool stuff, and I felt like the baddest witch in the game. I was like, oh my gosh, this is when spirituality wasn't mainstream and it was magical. And then finally in 2020, I was like, I should share like these really powerful ceremonies and rituals that get channeled to me. I feel like I used to kind of gatekeep it. I'm not gonna lie. I used to think like, oh, I'm getting all this insight channeled to me, like it's for me so that I can live my best life. And then see, before spiritual week, deeper spiritual week, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that is so egoic. No, you're being channeled these things so you can share with others, so everyone can manifest their best life. So that spiritual glow up. But even like going through the different categories of your life, my Coco's screaming, and getting clear, she probably wants her lunch. This is what it's like recording when you have like a cat, a dog, everyone, and you have an office at home. But getting clear, like I said, going through all the areas of your life and really just getting clear on what you want. And this is so unique because it's so different every year, and people want different things. Like I think people just think like, oh, I want health, happiness. And the thing is, like, though that's beautiful and that's great, but that looks so different to every individual. Like, what happened? I mean, just even the word happiness, right? Like, is such a vague word in a way, and that what makes one person happy could literally be the worst thing ever. So, for example, no offense, but like, I really don't like music festivals. Like, it would just gives me the most insane anxiety. Like, being in a field with a bunch of people with loud music on drugs, like, it literally sounds like my personal hell. But some people love that. And when I was younger, I loved it. So I'm not hating on them. I've been to Coachella, folks. I've been to Lollapalooza. I've been to like other EDM festivals when I was young. It's not funny that I was like 15, 16. I loved it. But I'm just saying, like, now it'd be my personal hell and it just doesn't bring me happiness. But for someone else, that could be like make them so happy. Like they love going to them. They might even want to work for one. They might want to like be, I don't know, do they have the house? I believe they do, like promoters for it or whatever it may be, right? So happiness is so unique to you, and so defining what you want. So maybe you're focused, you're like, okay, for me, and you can even have, I think it is good to have a focus, like what do I really want to focus and hone in on, which I have like a full circle thing I want to talk about at the end, but what do I want to focus and hone in on, right? Maybe this is the year you really want to focus on your business and your money. Maybe you're like, this is the year I really just want to get a really solid foundation together for myself financially, and I want to feel really, really good, and I want to grow my money. Like that's a really great focus to have. Then as you move into the year, okay, like I'm having so many thoughts at once, so I apologize if I'm a little bit like going from one thing to another. It's all gonna piece together, but essentially I remember I was speaking of this in a course, or I was in maybe even a podcast. I was speaking about it somewhere. Essentially, I was saying how when you know what your priorities are, it is so much easier to live life because you'll know it's a yes and you'll know it's a no for you. And the difference is everyone's priorities are different at different times of their lives. So for someone whose the business is their priority at the time, or growing their money is their priority, maybe when friends ask them to hang out or go out, they might say no because that's just not in alignment at the time with their priorities. Of course, a healthy balance is good, but you get what I'm saying, right? That might not be their priority. If they had to pick to do something for their business or go out that evening, they might pick their business because that's what their priority is. For someone else in a different season of their lives, maybe it's really about community and friendship. Maybe they just went through a difficult time, or whatever it may be, or they just really want to focus on friendship, and that's someone's priority. Like connection is someone's priority, let's say. Then when their friends invite them, that's going to be a full body yes, because that is exactly what they're desiring. And we have to acknowledge that our priorities change throughout our lives, and what what we're focused on and what we're really kind of like looking for the most. Like for me, when I first moved to LA, not this was even conscious, probably super subconscious. I mean, maybe it was conscious, but I wanted like adventure, right? Like I wanted to see and do and be out and fly and be at events till 2 a.m. and go to school. Like I just like wanted like life, and I feel like that's what I like, that was a priority. So like I experienced that. So I was like always, I mean, like on just like doing things, right? Like at events and traveling and flying on a rooftop at 5 a.m. Like that was a priority. So I would say yes to things like that. Now, I wouldn't say that. Oh my gosh, do you guys hear Coco? She's in the box with like all the packaging. But now I would say my priority is maybe like peace, to be completely honest, right? Just to like really maintain inner and outer peace. And so I probably wouldn't say yes to those same things. So that doesn't mean that something is right or wrong. It just means, is it right or wrong for you? And that's just like I think a big thing that we learn. So having like that, like I said, that focus or whatever it is and what you want in each aspect. Like if you're dating, then laying out like, is like your intention like to, I don't know, maybe just like meet people, learn and grow, or is maybe your intention to meet your ideal partner? And like I don't know, I just think it's so important to like sit and get clear, because so much of the time we like dilly dally and don't move towards things because we're not clear on what we want. Like how can you go after what you want if you don't really know what it is? You know what I mean? I've been there myself. Sometimes I'm like, why do I feel so frustrated? And then I'm like, because I haven't made a clear thing that I want. And so I'm not able to take action towards it. We can only take action towards something, right, when we're clear about what it is. So getting clear on what you want, but also at the same time, being open to divine guidance, right? Because we have our own willpower, but we also co-create with life. I think this is what a lot of people forget. They think it's like the whole notion that, oh, it's just you and just what you intend and just what you visualize. Anyone I think who's maybe a little bit older and who has lived more life can acknowledge that like that's really not the case. That life is going to give you what you need and the experiences you need. And I was listening today when on my morning walk. I'm re-listening. I listened to it this year earlier, and I read it when I was younger, but I just love re-listening to it. A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. It's like every time you listen to it, it really hits different. He talks about the experience you're having now is the experience you need to have, and then he's like, and you know how it's the experience you need to have because it's the experience you're having. And I think it was like, I don't think he was trying to be humorous, maybe like cheeky, but like it was just so true. It's like you will receive what you need to get to where you want to go, but being clear about where you want to go can help you get those lessons. So what I mean by, someone might be like, I want to meet my dream partner. That's like their intention, but maybe they still need to learn a lot of lessons before they can be there, right? They need to integrate a lot of wisdom before they can be there. So then life might give them some other relationships so that they can learn those lessons so that they're ready for that individual and that dream relationship comes along. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, you might not, if you order a cake, you might not get the cake. You might get like the flour, the baking soda, the eggs, etc., the whisk, and like then you'll have the cake, if that makes sense. But it's important to say that you want the cake too, so that the whisk, the eggs, and the ingredients come. So it's like, claim what you want, but also trust that life will give you whatever you need as the next step to get there. The next thing is get clear on what needs to change. This one sounds like so obvious, but it's like, I feel like it's not to a lot of people. And that, like I said, is just getting clear on what needs to change. So now that you're getting clear on what you want, you can really clearly see if you're on the path to that, right? Like if someone's saying that, I don't know, like I'm trying. It's very hard to give examples because like all I can think of is like personal examples or client examples. My personal examples, I'm trying to think of a personal example I could tell you something that needs to change. Okay, so like this is very subconscious, but I guess it's kind of an interesting example. So I remember thinking at the beginning of the year that I wanted to like do another activity. Like I don't know, at the time I thought I wanted to do bachata dancing because my nail girl did. But essentially I knew I wanted to do like some sort of movement activity, like something fun. I've always loved dancing when I was little. Like I just wanted to do like a fun dancing type activity, right? Because at the time I was just like so focused on my work, such like a Capricorn moon. Like I would work all day, right? I ran courses, I do divinity ceremonies, I was doing podcasts, I was doing a lot of one-to-one client sessions. Which I, by the way, if you're listening and you've wanted to work one-to-one with me, I am opening availability. So, if you want right now, I have spots open. You can book with me, and you'll get emailed some scheduling information. So that's really exciting because I only open spots every so often when I genuinely have availability. So yay, but I was working, right, doing client calls all the time, and I just was like living and breathing my business, which was great, but like it was like from morning to night, and I was just like, I need to have something else other than this thing. Even though I love it, I feel like I need to have time and space where I recharge and just have fun and like etc. so that I can kind of like show up more fully. And I ended up starting pole and I fell in love with it, and it's been such an amazing journey ever since. And so it's like I got clear what needed to change. Like I needed to find an activity, I needed to book it, I needed to like drive myself there, like take the action, like make the change. Just thinking about it and thinking, oh, that'd be nice, can't wait for until that falls into my lap, isn't going to do it, right? I got clear, like I need to go make the effort to find a place, drive there, take a class, show up consistently, get the gear I need. Do you know what I mean? Like to fully show up for that. Or if, for someone else, maybe if their intention is, if you're listening to this and maybe your intention is like you want to manifest your dream relationship, but then maybe your habits right now, or like you're not holding your standards high, or you're like hanging out with people who aren't the one for you, just not to be alone, or like you're saying yes to people, places, activities that like aren't going to lead you there. I think any woman's like guilty to that. I feel like when you're dating, sometimes you're just like, all right, it's Thursday night, fine, Chad, we'll go to a Lakers game. No, I'm kidding. But like you have to like, getting clear on like where your actions are not genuinely are not leading you to where you want to go, so you can change that. Or like with food, if you really want to get in shape and really want to have the body that makes you feel really good and healthy and energized, then maybe like, and you've gotten clear on that, then maybe you're like, okay, well, I need to get a gym membership, for example, or like I need to find a workout class I'm going to go to at least a few times a week. I need to order gym clothes that are going to make me feel inspired. Like essentially getting like understanding what action you need to take, like what needs to change. I think this is so important. Like, because if nothing needed to change, you would have the reality that you want, right? So clearly something needs to change for you to have what you want to have. And this is like very uncomfortable truth, because we want to, that's why so many people, they want to pretend like, oh, I'm fine, like everything's good, because they don't want to admit that something needs to change. Because if they say that they desire something else and they essentially acknowledge that they don't have what they desire, they're essentially alluding to the fact that there's something needs to be changed, and they're not making that change, and no one's ego wants that necessarily. I know this is a little bit like a tongue twister, but like if they acknowledge, if it's easier to say like, oh, I'm good, I have everything I want, than to be like, oh, there's this thing I desire and I don't have it, because that's clearly saying that there's like space between where you are and where you want to be, and maybe there's changes that need to be made. People don't like that feeling, not everyone. Like I think that's such a beautiful feeling in a way. It's like, oh, these are the changes I need to make, and I'm gonna, and then when you start making the changes and you're on the path to what it is you desire, I feel like that feels so fucking good. But it's like it's like a space of acknowledgement, right, that something needs to change. But in those spaces we grow so much when we acknowledge that what we're doing is no longer giving us the results that we want, or we want different results. We're like, this was fun for a while, or this was what I thought I wanted for a long time, but now that I realize that there's something else that I want, we have to create that change, right? Number 3 is take different actions, right? These all kind of piggyback off of each other. I feel like they're kind of 3 steps in a way. But so you've already identified, you've gotten clear on what it is you want, right? You've gotten clear on now what needs to change, because you're able to reflect on your current lifestyle, your current thoughts, beliefs, etc. And you're able to reflect on that and what you desire, and kind of see what's maybe not serving you or not in alignment with you, right? Whatever that is. And now it's time to take different action. So I think this is like a really cool thing to reflect upon. It's like whenever we've created something really different and amazing in our lives, we took a drastically different action. Like this is like kind of, it's like, it's so obvious that we forget. I feel like we forget in a way. Like anytime that you've really had a completely different and amazing experience, you took probably a really different action. Maybe you had like an amazing trip where you learned so much about yourself and you really grew and evolved. And maybe it started with you like booking a trip by yourself, or like booking a trip to a place that you've never been, maybe just trusting your intuition. Just as an example, do you get what I'm saying? Like I feel like really different experience that we have came from a really different action. And like I reflect again upon 2020 and when I pivoted my business and like completely went in a different direction and took like this huge risk that was felt so scary for a long time. I like moved, I took such a different took such a different action and the results were so vastly different, the results I got. So it's like it's not I wouldn't agree this is always the case, but it's almost like to the degree that your decision is like different, the results are going to be maybe that different as well, right? This obviously this is hard to quantify, but like I've just noticed that the more bold we make a choice or in such a different direction, or for example, at the end of last year, I decided to go to this like 7 day meditation retreat. And it was like all day. You wake up super early, like 4 a.m. sometimes to meditate. And it was in Mexico. And it was like, I mean, it's a pretty, I feel like big decision. And I was like, yep, I'm going. Like, I need to go to this. And so it was a really different action. Like, I was like, I'm going. It was like literally a week, even it was like 5 days after we got back from our honeymoon and I already from Mexico. And I was like, I'm going back to Mexico, right? Or we're going back to Mexico because I was like, I have to go to this. And from that, I met like one of my closest friends today, and she's amazing and lives in San Diego. Shout out to Jasmine if she's listening to this. And it's like that and had such like magical experiences there, genuinely. Like just it's like almost like out of a dream kind of experience. It's like I reflect on it now and I'm like, how is that real life? Like just moments I've had, like there was like a tub on the balcony and the thoughts that I had there, and then like being in the water with all these like-minded people. We were talking about all these different aspects about spirituality and just it just like so like having like I don't know, just meeting so many interesting people, and it was just such amazing experiences. And I met another woman who later like came to LA from Seattle, and we hung out on the beach here. Like it's it took such a different choice, right? A, it was like a big investment monetarily, and B, just like to go into this unknown, not know anyone, and just like, well, I guess my husband was with me, but he didn't go to the actual retreat. But like to go and I was going to just go by myself if I had to, because I was like, I just need to be here to go into that space. It was just so wild, and I look back at any time, or like for example. In 20 actually like 2019 I invested with like my first I guess like mentor. Actually I'm lying, I had a different mentor even before. I'm lying, wow. But I invested with a different mentor, a really big investment, and it was like again one of the pivotal like life-changing moments. And then the same thing this year I invested with a mentor. Like we worked January, February, March, and it was a big investment as well. And that was so life-changing and healing as well. So it's like anytime I've taken a radically different step, I've gotten different results. And I think this is why those of us who have had to make like who have been in any done like some self-development work, or maybe those of you who have taken a lot of my courses will relate to this, because when you take a step in a new direction, to move into a new energy, to learn new things, to become a new version of yourself, or maybe just a more deeper version of who you already are, like life changes. But we have to make those different choices, and I think that for a lot of people can feel scary, right? Or that can feel intimidating to make choices that they've never made, or they don't know what the result will be. And we as humans, I talked about this a lot last year, we don't like going into the unknown because we're biologically programmed to stay safe, right? Think about it, back when we were like in the caveman days. At that point, change was not good, right? We didn't want change. We wanted to feel safe and secure. We wanted our hunting schedule to be on track. We wanted our food preparation to be on track. We wanted everything to be on a specific schedule. Like at that point, change was scary. If something changed or you did something differently, it could equal you being killed by a bear, or it could equal you not getting your food or not getting home before the sun goes out, right? Like there was such bigger risk in doing things differently, and there was a lot of comfort in staying the same. But fast forward, we're almost in 2023, and life no longer is this way, but we're still biologically programmed that way. We're going into the unknown is scary. Like even if right now you make a decision to go do something completely different, you might have a weird feeling in your stomach for a moment, because it's like, whoa, like you're taking yourself out of your zone of comfort, out of your zone of safety. And that feels scary. And so, but we need to understand like calculated risk, and understand like, okay, well, sometimes if I want to have a different result, I need to have I need to make different choices. Maybe I no longer want to have the experiences I've had and I want something different. So it's going to require different choices. Like, for example, last year I ran this mastermind group for 6 months called Lust. And everyone who went inside that course had like life-changing events and amazing things happen to them, or just things that really catalyzed them on their journey and took them to a different place. I mean, like one amazing woman like quit her teaching job, another woman like left her master's program to pursue her business. Like beautiful, crazy big things happened. People had like big awakenings to get in touch with their feminine and what they really wanted. Like massive changes happened. It's because they took a massive step in a different direction, right? So I think that this is just really important. This is, to be completely honest, something that I even remind myself of, because I think all of us get comfortable in our routines and our ways of doing things. Like even if we take risks here and there, we like start to feel like settled in our way of doing things. And it's so funny because I swear it's the moment we start feeling settled that we're like feeling uninspired or any of these other emotions. It's because we as humans want life, right? We want to have something new. We want to create. We want to have more experiences. And this isn't in like a more kind of way. It's in like a like life. Like I want to experience more life, more kind of way, because we want to grow and evolve, and our soul wants to experience those things. And so to start taking different actions. Like when you're about to plan your weekend and you would normally do it a specific way, can you do it differently? Can you like, if you normally on Friday night go out and Saturday just, I don't know, do whatever, can you do something different? Can on Friday maybe you go like on a beautiful like, I don't know, solo date, and then maybe like Saturday wake up for a hike and a workout class. Like just do things differently. Like start taking different actions, like go to different places, hang out with different kinds of people, like just see where it takes you. And I have to take my own advice as I'm saying this. Like I got invited to go skiing with one of my friends from Pole, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to wake up so early. I haven't skied in years, even though I love skiing, and I was actually really good when I skied. Well, I think so. And it's like I need to go do this. Like as I'm speaking to you, I'm realizing like this is like life is like go do this new thing, go have this new experience. And meanwhile, I've been like, I don't know. So start like it's almost like that book, like Year of Yes. Obviously, you still want to have some no's. I feel like some women are too much Year of Yes, if you know what I'm saying. We need a year of yes and no and maybe, or I'll let you know later, which you know what that means. But no, I just think it's just starting to say yes to the experiences of life. Obviously, trust yourself, and if it feels right, and if like you're getting invited to stuff that doesn't align with you, and someone's asking you to do drugs, it's no longer year of yes, girl. It's a year of no. No, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, this is why any advice is so layered, because there's so many angles to look at things from. And so whenever I share anything, I'm like, I hope you understand to like apply it contextually, right? Because of course, like say yes to opportunities that align with you, start making different decisions, but it doesn't mean like start saying yes to things that don't serve you, right? I feel like these three things, if you just take them with you and apply them to yourself even throughout the year, if you're ever feeling stuck or stagnant, maybe like save this episode. I don't know if you could save it on your phone or like download it or put it in your notes in your links or something, and like come back to these three things if you're ever feeling stuck. And this is a really good practice just to do in general. And I should even do this now. Like, get clear on what you want, get clear on what needs to change to get there, and then take different action. That's what's going to get you there. So those are my three things you must do to make 2023 your year. And before I wrap up, I of course want to make such an exciting announcement. As many of you may already know, but if you don't know, I'm running another mastermind in 2023. I normally only run one a year, so that's how I've been doing it. So, and I don't offer them like later self-study courses or anything like that, my mastermind. So many people who wanted to be in less and weren't in less, it's like it's kind of you missed the boat, you know what I mean? And the same thing for this one. So now my next mastermind is all around money. It's a 3-month money mastermind called Let's Get You Rich. I'm so excited for it. It's all about healing and transforming your relationship with money, to the stories, to your subconscious, just your overall relationship, both inward, like inner relationship, and outward, transforming your habits, your relationship to it, and the ways in which you kind of go about creating it in your life, getting clear on how much money you want, what that's going to look like, and really beginning to go for it, essentially, right? It's not just like it's not just okay, let's just do some inner work and feel good and good luck. It's like and then how can we go for it? How can we begin to actually take action towards it, like consistent, clear, vivid, legitimate steps? It's going to be so powerful. It's going to begin a month from when I'm recording this, so January 14th. 2023. So many women are already inside and spots are filling up really quickly. So if you've been wanting to join, I really recommend joining. I'll have the website in the keynotes or in the description if you're watching this. I really recommend reading through it. I outline like every week it's a bi-weekly. So how it works, right, is it's 3-month course online. We start on January 14th and we run for 3 months. So I believe like April 9th is when it actually ends. And we meet bi-weekly for 2 hours on Sundays from 1 to 3 p.m. Pacific. But many people, because of time zones, other responsibilities, don't always come live. And there's absolutely no worries in that case. You always get the full recording. So whether you're coming live or you're not, the full recording get uploaded to the folder pretty much right away, right after. So like, even if you're in a completely different time zone and you can't come to anything live, you can still be 100% completely involved because you'll get access to the recordings right away. And also we have a community group chat that goes on during the entire time. Additionally, you get access to Divinity for free during those months. And I work with you personally, one-to-one privately during those 3 months. So we have one session, one hour session every single month through, so January, February, and March while this runs. And I guess some of us, we could even do like, if you wanted to spread them out, like January, February, April, or whatever, maybe probably January, February, March. But I'll be scheduling those together. So if you've wanted to work with me, this is really the place to be. Whether you've like worked with me before and taken a course or done coaching, or you've just like been watching on the outside, or you just come to ceremonies here and there, this is really like, if you want to experience my work, a mastermind is such a transformative space because you are held in this frequency for the 3 months, right? Like I'm guiding, leading, sharing techniques and everything every 2 weeks, right? We're having our mastermind, plus everyone who else is inside is reflecting back to you their own greatness, their own journey. So you're held accountable, but at the same time, you're loved and you're supported and you're held and you're nourished and you're encouraged this entire time, and you're given the tools and support that you need to really thrive. Additionally, like I said, I work one-to-one with you, so I really get to know you personally and get to support you personally, and I love forming those relationships. I'm like, sorry if you're watching the video, I've been playing with my hair because I need to wash my hair. I'm like, no hairstyle at this point is really giving me the look. So I'm playing with my hair, but I get to work with you really closely, which to me is one of my favorite things. I love working intimately with you, genuinely. And I always joke, like the first session, whenever I work closely with someone or privately with someone, people are always like scared a little bit because it's just like scary to be in an unknown environment. But then by session 2, they're like, okay, so on Tuesday I had this thought and this feeling, and then like, we get really, really deep, and my clients really become such close friends in my life. Like right now on my desk, I have one of my clients' Christmas cards on my desk. Like my clients really become such important people in my life. And so people I'd call friends. So I'd love to work with you. And yeah, I just really recommend, like, some people message me, oh, I want to work with you, or I want to experience your work, and I want to work one-to-one, and all these things. And literally masterminds, when they run, are the place to be because you not only get to work one-to-one, but you get access to a whole group course, you get access to the Telegram chat, you get access to Divinity. Like you have so much accountability and support during that time, and for such an unbelievable price, like for such a fraction of what any of that work would be. And I also offer payment plans. So of course there's a pay in full option and there's a 3-month payment plan. So whatever works best for you. I would love to have you inside. Definitely get inside as soon as possible before doors close. I would really, really love to work with you. And yeah, I know that sometimes maybe joining a new space is scary, but I think that that's really where so many transformations occur. And I've run courses now for years, and I see this over and over and over and over again. I know that at first it's scary to invest in yourself. I completely want to acknowledge that too. Like it's not easy to sometimes say yes to something, especially when you're not used to investing in yourself. I think once you do it a few times, you get really comfortable with it. Now I'm like, oh, should I like how do another mentorship? Like you do really get used to it because you see the results, right? We're such data-driven beings at heart. We're like, we need to see the results of something. Because that's why most of us would even choose like something we could predict, even if it wasn't what we wanted, rather than going into the unknown, because we don't like the unknown. So it's very reasonable why when we first make an investment in ourselves, it's scary because we don't know what's going to happen. We're like, it's going to be worth it. What's going to be like I understand all of those different layers to that. But once I think we do it once, and you do see the shifts and transformations that occur, just like how much you grow as a being and spiritually, again, everything's spiritual. So it's like kind of like a double entendre to even say that, but you see the results in like in the way that you bloom both internally and externally, and it makes you just want to continue investing in yourself because you realize that the more that you grow as a being, the more your consciousness expands, just the more you view life differently, the more fulfilled you are, right? Like it's kind of obvious, the more we grow as beings in our wisdom and just in our experience with life, the way that we, entangle and move through it, the more beautiful and expanded and amazing life gets, because our thoughts expand, our experiences expand, the way we view things expands, right? So I just wanted to kind of touch on that I know that it's scary to invest in yourself, but really a different version of you is on the other side. And that's not just like a cliche. It is so true. Like even when you book a trip, a different version of you is on the other side. When you feel like if you're booking it as an investment in yourself, right? When you invest in a mentor, you invest in a mastermind, a different version of you is on the other side. And I'm so honored to like host that little in-between space for you and your own shifts and your transformations and your breakthroughs and your awakenings, all of it, your joy, your tears, everything. I just love that like cocoon that we get to go into, and it's just so beautiful. I'm so excited for that. So I wanted to end on that. I'm really looking forward to kicking up 2023 with this mastermind. I don't know when I'll run the next course, and I'm not just saying that as like a marketing technique. I genuinely only create them when I feel really called. So if you wanted to work with me, I just strongly encourage to get inside this mastermind. It's going to be amazing. So with that being said, also, if you're watching the video, I'm wearing my current favorite combo, or one of them, which is I'm wearing the Lift Your Frequency God is a Woman necklace. We already know peach moonstone coated in AB, so precious metals, with freshwater pearl, clear quartz. This is unlimited unconditional love, and this is peach moonstone. The same, it's faceted, but they're smaller, also in AB. Those precious metals with a peach freshwater pearl. Like the stack is epic, right? I also, like I said, I made an 18-inch of these for a customer, and I love how it looks. I almost want to make like an 18-inch of this and just wear like just this one and that one. So it almost kind of looks like a lariat, like a 16 and 18 of unconditional love. So I'm also making and shipping your orders. I should be getting actually more inventory in the mail today. So if you've been wanting to place your order, to try to get it as quickly as possible for the holidays, if I do my best to get them out as quickly as possible, and definitely place your order. I've been making those. I'll be working on them actually probably tomorrow. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I'd love to see you inside the Activate 2023 ceremony and ritual, whether you're here. Sorry, it's not even, I called it differently. It's Activate 2023 ceremony and alignment for the new year. I call it something different because it's spicy. But I'd love to see you there, whether you attend live or watch the recording inside Divinity. And I really hope to see you inside Let's Get You Rich. I would love to host you, honor you, and support you in your growth process. And I genuinely mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's probably my favorite thing to do. I really feel like it is my purpose, or know it is my purpose. So I'm really excited to hold that space and to share all the teachings and experiences that I've had and help and assist you on your journey. So with that being said, so much love from me to you, and I will see you next week on Unlimited Abundance.